Hello guys, today we'll be trying to voice over instead of using an AI text-to-speech. This is my last game to milestone 4 Guess 66 and just get right into it. I spot Duskar here, so I DP and I get a pretty good distance on them. I hit the Infernal Cry, which means I should get quite a bit of damage on Duskar, if not kill them. Their teammates do start to appear, but they're not really helping too much right now. I missed my Eviscerate, which is pretty bad. I'm getting lots of chip damage though, which is feeding me blood. I missed this Cry, which is a pretty big sell, but I hit the Eviscerate on N7. Don't mind the YouTube notification. Duskar keeps juking, which is kind of leaving them in a stamina deficit. So I get to hit an Eviscerate on them, and in 7 I hit this DP on Jane. I have half a Blood Hunt already, and I decide to Blood Rush since Duskar made quite a bit of distance. I can get some speed on them. I completely whiff my Cry, but Duskar dodges it anyways, giving me the stamina advantage. That is until I miss my Eviscerate. I take a Jane Axe, but it doesn't really matter, as this map there's no place to really run. I hit this pretty crucial Cry, which leads to Duskar dying and also me gaining Blood Hunt. I'll just DP. After popping Blood Hunt, I DP to the nearest survivor on the cliff, and I do hit them for a full 40 damage. I mark Guess with Eviscerate and decide to go for the cornered survivor, as they should be a free kill, and they are Elliot. They do juke a bit here, which I'm pretty weak to jukes, and I get parried because of it. But Elliot didn't really make any distance from that parry, so I still get the kill. I then DP over to this Jane here, on top of the mountain, cracking their shield, and I decide to just commit to chase them. I hit the Infernal Cry, which means they're definitely dead. Yep. I then DP over to this Guest who decides to walk towards me. I decide to kill them at the last second. I was considering leaving them for LMS. I then DP over to this N7 to try and kill them. I hit the Infernal Cry on them. And as you can see, Guess 66 in Blood Hunt with Infernal Cry hit. It's just way too fast. I dodged the Shaleski Slash. And N7 is forced to corner themselves here, which means I can just chase reset. I do take my M1 there and hit this Infernal Cry. And they already used their clone, so they can't clone body block. But with all that said, it's LMS time. I started off with a pretty good DP, and Shaleski already wasted some stamina running. And they're still highlighted from my Blood Rush and now my Cry, which means I basically have infinite speed boost on them. So they take 60 damage really quickly. They take another 10 from the Eviscerate and another 20, but they slash me in return. Now this doesn't really matter, as they are still left with 10 HP, and the LMS is not even halfway through yet. I do miss a Cry, and I don't hit the Eviscerate, and I fall down. Now to be honest, I did lose them here because I wasn't running in first person, but I can just Blood Rush, and if Demonic Pursuit back up here, this could get a little close now, but I still am confident I win. I hit the Infernal Cry, which definitely seals their fate. They do some jukes though, and I do fall for them like an idiot, but in the end, it doesn't matter. I still kill them. GG's, that's on milestone 4. I can finally retire Guess 66. Now that was a pretty relaxed game for milestone 4. I didn't have to try too hard considering all my kills are basically in the first Blood Hunt I got, but I'm still happy for milestone 4, and I'll probably work on 1x milestone 4 next. But with that said, see you in the next game. It'll be a lot more interesting. Into the next game, I decide to torture myself by playing Slasher in a really good lobby. And hey, look at that, I'm finally playing Vanity again. Well, I guess you guys wouldn't know that, but Vanity is my main skin. I find this 2-time placing down Retro so I get a free 70 damage. I do try to hit the behead around the corner, but I don't turn it around that much. Part of the reason why this game was so hard is because I was not dodging any stunts at all. I do get an early kill on 2-time, which is good, but I definitely need that time. I immediately get stabbed here, which is cancer, but then again it's 2-time, what do you expect? I get good chip on Shaletsky and Guest here, but it doesn't really matter. I decide to go after this isolated 2-time. After regenerating to max, I'll continue chasing them, and hopefully their teammates won't interfere too much. I hit this drop gashing win as I knew they would try to go for the stab, and I behead because it's technically more stamina efficient. I get stunned by Shaletsky here, which gives 2-time way too much distance. I decide to just go after Shed, considering they're right next to me, and have not that much stamina. I get hit with the subspace here, which is kind of annoying, but it doesn't really do anything to stop this behead that finishes off the Shaletsky. I then regen to full while deciding my next target. I spot Taff placing down this trip mine, so I thought I could get a good chase on them. I don't hit this M1, which is very unfortunate, but I do hit this gashing win, which wasn't intended. It was meant for Taff, but I'll take the 24 damage. Taff gains a lot of distance, but I do have Raging Pace, which I haven't used all game, so I decide to stick it. I pop Raging Pace here, and I am looking at the 2-time in the corner, but I don't fling my Raging Pace around the corner all that well. Guest takes another 20 damage, but because I was distracted by him, I got hit by this stab. Well, speaking of the double, he's right next to me, and he is very low. I might as well just kill him. I block bait, but I decide not to go for the Gashi wound for whatever reason, which leads to this chase being a lot longer than it should have been. Especially after that missed behead. I keep whiffing my M1s to jukes. I pop Raging Pace here because I thought Jane would axe, but they don't. I don't bother to dodge the axe here in the corridor, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that big a deal. Guest tries to charge me off the ledge, but I have charge immunity, which so it doesn't work out for me. I do get hit with this parry on the frame, my stun immunity goes away, which is quite annoying. But Guest decides to take fall stagger for whatever reason, but the subspace kind of throws me off into the wall. Guest somehow didn't make any distance, but he does juke out my head, but apparently hit 0, so I still get the kill. Now, I would like to get Taff out of the way if I can, as he's been a very big annoyance. But I spot this Jane in the corner and I hit them with the Gashi wound. 2-time tries to distract me, but it seems as if the Jane went AFK, so I get free time, which trust me, I definitely needed this. And I immediately get stabbed because I thought the stun immunity you get in kill frames lasted longer. I don't know where Taff is, so I just decide to go after this 2-time. They are juking pretty well, and with Guest being the free distance machine that he is, 2-time gains quite a bit of distance and stamina against me, which leads to this chase being very long. I'm forced to reset already, and I got Raging Pace in 12 seconds. They should have stab before then, so I could just Gashi Rune, and nope. Apparently 2-time stab is frame 1. I mean, come on, at least give Raging Pace frame 1 immunity. Now I continue to chase Taff here, but I do fall for their traps, and some bad pathing leads to me losing them. So I just head towards the mid, since that's where survivors like to camp out, and if you look up there, yep, there's Taff. After staggering myself and juking out the subspace, I decide to continue going. I do see 2-time crouched. They missed the dash stab, which means I get a free Gashi Rune on them. This is my best opportunity to kill a person in a while, and considering I only have a minute left, this is very needed. Guest does get them free distance again, nerf Guest please. But 2-time is still kind of cooked here. I hit the behead, which was a mistake. I should have just M1 there, because behead gives you slowness, of course, and kind of sells your chase. But with a raging pace, 2-time is definitely dead here. Unless... Oh. Ooh, he has oblation. Alright, that's fine. I hit the subspace, and I don't have a good chase on anybody, so I sneak up on 2-time, and yep, they're dead. Nice. Now I got a minute 20 to kill either Taff or Guest. I know Guest has too much self-survivability, so I'll probably lose to them in LMS, so I decide to go after them. Guest takes some pretty wonky pathing here, but it does work out as they are up stamina, but a raging pace does correct that. Now all I gotta do is juke out their block. This punch was kind of useless as I was regenerating stamina anyways with the subspace. So now I'm on them. They're most likely gonna block now, so I kind of stagger my M1s a bit. I do hit the chaff tripwire, which sucks, and I do get charged here because of course Guest can just have infinite distance on stairs. I'm forced to raging pace off the stairs, and I try to hit the behead here, but they gain just a little bit too much distance. I hit another M1 here, so now I definitely know the block side block bait, and hit the gashing wound. Now Guest is left at one shot, and all I gotta do is hit a behead and or slash. They juke out my behead, and I get worried here a bit, but apparently they had no stamina, so I just get the M1 and kill them. Now it's a Taff LMS versus Slasher. I definitely shouldn't lose this, as even Elliot versus Slasher is basically guaranteed win for Slasher if you play it well. So against Taff, this should be a free win. I pop raging pace here, and I do somewhat cut them off, breaking their tripwire. Now Taff should have to take at least an M1 here to equalize. Yep, they take the M1. And actually looks like they have to take 2, which is very bad for them because now they die to gashing wound. I do get stuck on this little rock though, so now they're in the stamina advantage again, but they run over here, which means I get a heavy cutoff. And now, since they have no stamina, I just hit the gashing wound, and that's GG's. This is my first Slasher game in about a month, and it looks like it was a server wipe. Now they did have an AFK Jane, so it isn't really a true server wipe, but still, I'm very proud of my accomplishment. And also, side note, look at these fellow Veronicas chilling on the couch in the server. Well, with that said, that is the final game of this video. I did reach milestone 4 today, and I also got a pretty fun and hard Slasher game. You can tell I'm a bit rusty on Slasher still though, as I got hit with plenty of stunts. Now let's roll the outro, shall we? Alright, it was a pretty short video today, so I'll keep this outro pretty short as well. I just want your feedback on the voiceover. I know I stuttered a lot and said a bunch of ands and uhs, but I hope you do like it, as it did make this video much easier to make. And as always, I hope you enjoyed my gameplay, even if it isn't the best. Say goodbye to King Mudkip on your way out, and I hope you have a fine day.